Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you have been enjoying your January thus far. Today is a day where I thought of taking my book Reflections from the Heart and giving you a practical guide or example of how to use it for this year. In my video about 5 tips for New Year's resolution, I've mentioned how important a support structure is, and I see this book, Reflections from the Heart, as a support structure, something that will help you and assist you to find your answers and become that person you want to become this year. So as you might know, Reflections from the Heart is a daily devotional, and it has 52 different themes, one theme for every week of the year. Today I'm going to focus on week 22, which is recommitment. A very personal story that explained recommitment to me very well was when I was a young girl in school playing netball. I loved playing netball, and my mother was a very good netball coach, but also netball player. When she was young and in varsity, she played national netball and she was my coach. So I still remember we used to practice netball, and afterwards I was the goal attack, she was also a goal attack. So afterwards we would practice goals together, and she used to tell me, sometimes you're going to miss it. Don't worry. Get over it, be ready for the rebound, recommit, and then shoot the goal again. So there are different types of recommitments. Some recommitments we do if we fail at reaching a certain goal or recommitting to a certain relationship. But other recommitments are things that we not necessarily fail at, but things that we want to improve on, or things that we want to focus on once more. The first 5 days of the week of recommitment consists out of me telling a few stories like the one I've told just now, to give you an idea of what recommitment is, but to also allow you to think about what you want to recommit to show you what I want to recommit to in 2020. Day 7, time to reflect. What goals or relationships do you want to recommit to? So I want to recommit to the relationship with my eldest son. I know it might sound strange, and it's not like I've been neglecting my son or anything, but I know that our young son or our new baby is on his way, and I want to make sure that I actively and consciously recommit to my relationship with our eldest son. I know that he's been taking it a little bit hard. Sometimes he gets jealous knowing that there's a new baby coming on the way, and sometimes he would even climb into the stroller and pretend to be a baby. So for me, one of the relationships that I would like to recommit to is the one with my son. How will you do this? And use the practical steps from day 5 to help you with this. So in day 5, I set out 7 practical tips on how to recommit to a relationship. Number 1, set time aside for quality communication in a safe environment. What I'm going to do with my son is to make sure that I actively and consciously make time for us to spend time together alone, but also with the baby. So while I'm breastfeeding, I'm going to read a book with our eldest son. So he feels like he's a part of this, and it is quality time for him as well. I am going to take turns with my husband to put our son to sleep. So he doesn't think that mommy is not only focusing on the new baby, but we're going to make times to put him to bed. Learn to listen attentively to each other, making sure that you give your full attention to each other during conversations. This is actually very important, and come to think of it, it might be easy for me when the baby is here to do a lot of things at once, but I'm going to consciously remind myself to listen actively and attentively to what my son has to say. Learn to speak their love language. This is something that is very helpful with regards to any relationship, and sometimes I feel like taking a bath with my son is amazing and quality time, but perhaps he wants to play blocks. So I think it might be good to learn to speak his love language, and it changes. I've seen that when he was young he only wanted hugs and love. Now he wants quality time, he wants to play outside. So to make sure that with every phase of his life in this year, I'm going to try to speak his love language. Put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, what can I do to assist them? I think especially with the baby coming, making sure that I try to put myself in his shoes and not get frustrated with him being jealous at the new baby, but try to realize what an adjustment it is for him and trying to think of what I can do to help him. So perhaps, like I've mentioned, having him assist me handing the wipes if I change the diapers, or sitting with us and reading book to his brother when I breastfeed. Follow through on the list of things you mentioned above. I'll try to remember that. Give them the benefits of the doubt regardless of how hard it might be. I think this kind of complements the previous point. And then ask them, I would like to recommit to our relationship. Do you have a suggestion for how I can achieve this? My son is 3 years old now, and I think that is a great reminder to know that I can ask him, what do you want mommy to do? I can see that you're frustrated, or I can see that you're sad, or I can see that it is an adjustment for you, but what do you want me to do to make it better for you? Okay, so this was a very practical example of how I use reflections from the heart, and you can use these 7 things that I just went through with regards to any relationship. A relationship with your friend, a relationship with your mother or your husband even, to find your own answers and to really focus on recommitting to that relationship, but also recommitting to a goal perhaps. If you have reflections from the heart, I hope you found this very helpful and as a practical example of how to use it. If you haven't, please feel free to use the reflective exercise I've done just now to assist you in any way possible for 2020. I would like to recommit to my eldest son this year. Who would you like to recommit to in 2020? Please feel free to comment it in the comment section below, and I hope you find this exercise helpful in any way or form. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and make sure that you see my new video every Wednesday evening at 6.